in the building. Tom and K holding us down on the production level. And we have in the building with us now, man, a dude that I go way back with, man. My Walbrook Warrior family. Author Corey J. Johnson in the building, y'all. Welcome to Baltimore Flava Radio. I don't even know where to start with you, man. It's been so long since I had a chance to see you. You're looking good and buff.
Thank you.
Like you just came from the gym.
I'm trying to live, man. Trying to live.
That's what it is. What's been going on with you?
Hey, man, just trying to live. Promoting these books, pushing these books, trying to get my hustle on, grinding every day, trying to make it happen.
That's what's up. And you said books, and I didn't realize it was so many.
Yeah.
How long you been writing and stuff?
I have 4 published books. I've been writing for about professionally or seriously for about 7 years now. And the primary book I'm promoting is called Courageous. But I have 3 other books. It's a series called PI Chronicles. So it's 4 books in total. So
all 4 books are. Let's talk about Courageous first, since that's the newest one. Tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes stuff of what that's based on.
Courageous is a biographical book. It's loosely based on my brother. He passed away in '91. His name was Avon. In the streets, they know him as he was known as Flava, so his name was Avon Flava Johnson. And it's not all 100% truth. I had to throw some things in there. So I pretty much tell people it's loosely based on his life, but it's kind of like fiction. So he was a notorious dude out in the streets of Baltimore. He did his thing, ran the streets, and had a notorious reputation because of the things he did. But later on in his life, he went through a lot of struggles and some hard times. And before he passed away, he dedicated the rest of his life to saving as many people as he could, getting people off the streets. This was during like the 80s, 90s, so early 90s. So, HIV and drug use and all that type of stuff it wasn't quite what it is today. So he helped a lot of people to get into recovery when recovery wasn't as readily available as it is today. So he used basically his reputation, because a lot of people knew who he was and they respected him. He used that to go back and help as many people as he could get clean. So I thought it was an inspirational story because he turned his life around. And that's why I call it Courageous.
Is this your older brother?
Yeah. He's my second oldest brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when he made that decision to change and start doing different, than what he was doing out on the streets, how did that affect you and the way that you were looking up to him?
Well, I always admired him. He was that cool dude, flashy, boisterous. I always tell people his swag was through the roof. Like if he walked in his room, you gotta recognize him because he was just that type of dude. So I always admired him and looked up to him, But the things he did out in the street during that time, I was so young, I didn't really, I wasn't totally aware of the things he did. So I pretty much found most of that information out through doing the research for the book. So a lot of people used to talk about him. That's why I wrote the book, because they would talk about him as if he was relevant, like he was still alive. And I'm like, how this dude passed away in '91 and people today still talk about him like he really, really impacted their life. So I had to go back and do the research, and that's how I found out. I found out the story basically, as it was told to me. I knew some things, but I didn't know everything.
That's interesting, because that's your brother. So you would think that you would know everything that was going on.
Yeah, that's kind of like the perspective I took on writing the book, because my family knew him as Avon. He was a family guy. Like I said, he was the funny guy, come in the room, make everybody laugh. But out in the street, he was a different person. He was Flava, and Flava in the street was a gangster, with a notorious reputation. I didn't know that. So as I got to doing the book and the research, I was like, you got Avon in one hand, you got Flava in one hand, but at the end of the day, he was a human being. He's a person. That's what's most important. We all have faults. We all make bad choices and, fall short. So I wanted people to know that this guy who is Avon, this guy who is Flava, is really the same person.
Important for like your family to have that message out there, to let it be known that the person that we know isn't the person that, the other people on the streets know.
Right. I wanted to tell both sides of the story. The story depicts the gangster notorious stuff, but not glorifying it, just letting you know that he did do some things, you know what I mean? So that you know that he did come from a certain place in order for him to turn his life around. That's the foundation. But then on the back end, before he passed away, you know, he changed his life, and he basically felt remorseful about all the things that he did. He's a human being. You know, we all should feel some type of feelings if you've done some things wrong. And that's God's work. He wants us to help other people. That's really what he wants us to do, is to help other people. That's his mission for us. So I felt like ultimately he did that. He gave the ultimate sacrifice because he sacrificed his life. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the other books in the series.
The other books are, like I said, it's a 3-part series. It's entitled P.I. Chronicles, and it's 3 different stories. One is P.I. Chronicles, My Heart, My Home, P.I. Chronicles, Distant Lover, and P.I. Chronicles, Brothers United. And it's basically about me. Like you mentioned earlier, I graduated from Walbrook, and upon graduating, I didn't really have a plan. You know, I wasn't going to college because, you know, Walbrook had twisted my head up. I wasn't going to school no more. So I was like, you know, I got to have a plan B, which I really didn't have. But I don't know if you recall, recruiters used to come to the school.
Absolutely.
And I got recruited to go into the Marine Corps, and that caught my attention.
Staff Sergeant Matthews.
So that was my choice. I decided to go in the Marine Corps, and that's what PI Chronicles is about. PI stands for Philippine Islands. That's one of the places I found myself and upon joining the Marine Corps, and it was a culture shock. You know what I mean? It was a strange place to wake up in. You know what I mean? One day you wake up and, you know, you're born and raised in West Baltimore. One day you find yourself in the Philippines in the middle of the jungle. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a good story to write about, all of the different things that I went through.
I mean, it's a culture shock just to go from Baltimore to Paris Island. So I can imagine going from there. Did you go, like, after you graduated, did you go immediately to the Philippines? Was that like your first?
No, I actually, I had to wait for about almost a year. It wasn't quite a year, but I was on what they called delayed entry at the time, because the training course I was taking wasn't going to start until, you know, a certain date. And I mean, I found out a lot of stuff later on. I was infantry, basically. So infantry, they come a dime a dozen. It was like 1 million infantry. So I just had to wait my turn. So I didn't leave until I graduated in 87. I left in like 88.
Okay. So how did like the experiences in the Philippines, how did that, you know, change you as a person and influence you to make you want to tell the story in a book?
Well, the Marine Corps as a whole, you know, it changed my life. You know what I mean? Coming from where I come from, it teaches you discipline and leadership qualities and stuff like that. But what I thought was compelling about the story PI Chronicles was the people that you encounter. You know what I mean? The things that you encounter, that you go through, meeting different people from walks of life that I probably wouldn't have met here in Baltimore. You know, meeting exotic women in the Philippine Islands, meeting guys from the Midwest, you know what I mean, who not really that familiar with Black people, you know, so what's that relationship like? You know what I mean? So racism, prejudice, just a bunch of different things. You know, it's a great opportunity, but it was an experience. So I thought it was something, you know, worth writing a story about. So
talk a little bit about Distant Love. I think that's the one Jim wants to know about.
Let me hear about it before I say I want it.
Distant Lover is like, originally when I wrote the story PI Chronicles, it was one book instead of three different books. And as I went through the editing phase, my cousin, who is basically my editor, Yolanda Rice, shout out to Yaya, she read the book and said, you got 3 different stories here. So that's how I broke it into 3 different books. So Distant Lover is basically the original book was about my relationship with a Philippine woman that I was seeing at the time. And then it grew into, you know, I was like 20 years old, you know, Philippines, Marine, they cut you loose, you know, you get wild. So it was one Philippine woman and another woman. And I thought it was interesting, the different relationships. So I break the book down into talking about the different relationships that I had with the women that I was dating at the time. Not to mention, you know, writing, you know, your high school girlfriend at home and all that type of stuff. So, you know, it's all about that. I guess it's like my 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, because it gets kind of graphic.
Okay. Look at wifey over there like, whew.
I mean, she read it. You know,
Yeah.
it's no holds barred.
Yeah.
You know, I had to be transparent in order to, you know, really get the story out there. And I thought it was something that people would be interested in.
what's the process of writing these books? Because each book has a different tidal wave, so I'm sure, like you said, you had to research your brother. So how do you come up with the meat, the guts of the story?
Well, when I wrote Courageous, for me, I have to be inspired about a story in order to write about it. So, like I said, a lot of people was talking about my brother. Like, say I will go to the barbershop in the neighborhood, and guys from NA programs or different places, you know, somebody would say, that's Flava brother. And then they would tell me a story. And this went on and on and on for years. So one guy, he was a barber. He said, man, you know, Flava got a great story, man. You should put that story out there. And through my, like I said, research, talking to different people, that's how I came up with, I guess, the meat of the story. So in order to make it a book-worthy story, you know, I had to go get all of the other pieces to put the story together. You know, I knew that he was notorious, he was a gangster, he sold drugs, and I knew he was a recovering drug addict. But I didn't know all of the other intricate details, you know what I mean, that I thought made the story interesting.
Okay. And 2G's Books, is that your own publishing company?
I published my book through Book Babies.
Okay.
So I'm a self-publisher. Book Baby is like a entity that does like independent work, like rappers, musicians, artists, whatever, authors as well. So they have CD Baby, Book Baby. So they published it in the sense that they printed it, but I did all the work. I did the writing, the editing, I did the graphics, I did all of that myself. So I'm an independent publisher. Anything I do as far as promotion or any work I do, I put 2G's on. That's like my company. Okay. So like the logo you see on there with the G's backwards, there's 2G's back to back, because I kind of came up with the idea to start my own business in the year 2000. And we all know a G is 1,000. So 2G's, that's how I came up with 2G's.
So how does that play into your ability to have the books published through the Library of Congress?
That's to protect yourself. You know what I mean? You got to get some copyright. You know, a lot of people, we got to educate ourselves. So when it comes to music, whatever, writing music, writing songs, writing a book, you know, you got to get that copy written so that somebody doesn't steal it. My plan is to turn Courageous into a book or a film project. So in order for me to protect myself, even though I had a book printed, you know, everybody see my name on it. The legal correct way to do it is to go to the Library of Congress and get it copywritten. But I learned this as well, because all this was a learning process for me, because I never did it before. So once I start talking about turning into a film project, that's another copyright. You know what I mean? I didn't know that, but I had to go and do that as well. So for film, it's a different. For print, it's a different. So, you know, you gotta get educated.
You have any idea when you might start that process of changing?
I mean, you know, you're gonna write the check, man. You can do it tomorrow. You know what
I mean, Jay doesn't even need to write a check. He can finance it out of his pocket right now.
Money, you know, dollars and cents. Web series today, podcast is very popular, but I want it to be done right. To me, Courageous is on the level of The Wire, The Sopranos, you know, The Corner. It's that type of story. And because of who my brother was, not just to me, but to everybody else, but because of who he was, I wouldn't be doing him justice if I did like a web series on my own. I want it to be done right. You know what I mean? So, because he deserves that. And I think the story, it's a great story. I think it's up there with The Wire and The Sopranos.
Any other projects you're working on that we can look forward to? Or are you going to ride this wave right now? Then?
I got some, you know, book shows and things like that. I'm trying to get my name out there as much as I can, as much advertisement, promotion, as much as I can do. Trying to get on the book festivals. I'm trying to do as many interviews and whoever want to interview me and write, you know, publication or anything, reviews, whatever. I'm grinding on Courageous right now. That's really what I'm pushing. Yeah, if Oprah Winfrey called me, you know I'm there.
Jen, can you make that happen? Scroll through and hit Oprah and say, holla at my man. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you leaving me a copy. Honestly, I hope you leave me a copy because I want to check it out.
$20 and my autograph, man. I got this. But before we go, I got something. I got a surprise.
Absolutely. Oh.
So we talked. so we talked about me being in the Marine Corps, right? So I bought my Marine Corps recruitment yearbook from Paris Island.
Okay.
I thought you would get a kick out of that.
Absolutely.
But more so, I thought you would like this.
Man, oh
my
man.
Walbrook Warrior yearbook.
Jeez, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, he in there.
Actually, you know what?
I'm not
No,
sure because
you know
didn't
what?
graduate in 87.
No, I graduated in 87, but if you remember, I graduated in 87, but if you remember, I was on crutches when I walked across the stage. Yeah, I was on crutches when we graduated, and actually at the time that they were doing the pictures for this book, no, it wasn't August. I mean, nice try. Nice try. Yes, I was on stage.
First of all, I can't say nothing about being on stage because I almost didn't graduate myself. So I think I probably was in that group as well. But yeah, I went through some hard times. At my last year in high school, I was wilding. So yeah, but I graduated. I got my degree.
Hey, let me tell you, at some point, everybody in Walbrook was wilding, man, because it was just that much fun. And as I mentioned Stairway 5 to you earlier, and I was like, as soon as I said it, you started smiling because used to be a lot of memories on Stairway 5, man.
You know, Mr. Pope coming through with the sneakers on, and the suits, you know what I mean, remember the bullet thing he used to carry around?
And the mace.
The
mace joint. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm gonna look through here. My man John Williams, quite people in there.
Yeah, I thought you would get a kick out of that. Yeah, it's a lot of faces in there. If y'all post some pictures from this yearbook, I'm telling you, I'm putting a disclaimer on it. I ain't had nothing to do with it.
I posted one today from when one of the homecoming joints when they caught me marching out, coming on to the street, get ready to march around to the football field. Yeah, you know, homecomings used to be classic down there.
Yeah, I saw that when you posted something about how we used to shut it down. Yeah, we had one of the best marching bands.
I just told you I wasn't on there because I didn't take the pictures. Anyway,
you remember my man Sonny, Larry Washington? His birthday was the other day. That was my man. Shout out to Sonny.
No, I'm thinking Larry Washington Beaver.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Rest in peace to that dude, man.
Said they late.
Rest in peace to that dude, man. That was my dude. He used to rock the xylophone, the sousaphone in the band, man.
Yeah, y'all was in the band together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Appreciate you, man. Let everybody know how they can contact you and keep in touch with you.
I'm on Facebook. Corey, COREYJAY Johnson. I'm on IG and Twitter, COREYJAY31. Holla at your boy.
And how can they find the books?
I'm all over the place, man. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, iBooks, Scripted. Most major online book publications, I'm out there. Courageous is available in print and digital format. PR Chronicles is only available as digital. I haven't done the print yet because a lot of people at the time, like I said, I was new, and it comes down to money. So I want to get the story out there. I couldn't really afford to put it in print yet. But Courageous, you know, I had to dump everything I could into, you know, putting it out there in print. Because some people like digital so they can look at it on their phone or their laptop. And some people want a book, they can have it actually in their hand, turn the pages and all that. So
I prefer digital.
That's what's up. The digital version is cheaper.
Oh, I definitely prefer digital. I definitely prefer digital.
You don't get the autograph though.
Right. See, I ain't saying you said.
I'm helping.
That's what I tell people. You don't get the autograph.
10%.
Where's Dame? Where's Dame? No, I'm just playing.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, absolutely,
man. My man Diamond.
You already know.
This is my second time in the building. I always like coming here. I've been to some studios, but I ain't gonna say nothing. But this is a nice spot though. I like it here. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Diamond stepping his game up. Yeah. That's what it is. Definitely appreciate you coming through, man. That's Corey J. Johnson. Make sure y'all be on the lookout for the book, man, and go support Black authors. Support Black authors.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Uh-oh.
Diamond be really stepping this game up. He found my damn trophy.
We're gonna take, we're on that note, we definitely going to break, and we'll be back.